Manic moon, mad dogs, money, murder, mayhem, and a return to the wild, wild west. It's Capricorn, full supermoon on the 13th of July. This full moon, astrology, on the 13th is looking like an episode of Yellowstone. We've got wild rabid dogs, crossing water, drownings, shootings, frenzied hoarding and pillaging for grain and power grabs by force, emotional retributions, tempers flaring, etc. The tarot for the moon placement is like a prepper's delight. Hoard, store, protect with dogs. It sounds like self-protection conflicts, WAR, starting with invasion across water or some tidal event. Then a manic panic to secure provisions for the family with our home, our land, security, about the whole thing. Lively is the word, and crazy. It begins with a wild lawlessness, but the chaos and dissipation is leading towards something that is more just, where wealth and lands are gained, are built upon harmony from being gifted and shared with what is noble and right, rather than plundered by the ill-gotten gains of avarice and envy. He who preserves the land and the resources for the good of all will be the victor in the end. This energy is building towards a massive karmic cycle of completion and renewal as we reach the climactic third act of the movie we call Civilisation. I don't even know where to start. Full supermoon at 21 degrees Capricorn in the latter part of Capricorn is conjunct the star Sulafat and Pluto, making us aware of all the structures and programmed ideologies of what reality we adhere to, as our awareness focuses towards how those structures are becoming destabilised. It's the star Sulafat that is setting the tone for this. It has a feeling of the Wild West about it, with people who take law into their own hands in a way similar to the Duttons in the TV show Yellowstone, where acts of protecting their own are done for the family or their tribe. It's a version of honour despite the collateral damage, all done with a guitar in hand and a song to seduce, with a lyrical, hypnotic voice. This star falls around the talons of the vulture, being tenacious and hands-on practical, getting bleep done and picking the bones as opportunity strikes. The moon is opposite home security and is having a sit-down with Pluto the Plutarch, while Mercury, Lilith, Ceres and the Sun are together in Cancer. All thoughts are on our territory, safety, comforts and protecting the family, protecting the grain and sources of nourishment, with rash emotional fervour. Capricorn 3 Decan is Lord of Material Power. Its symbol is a man holding a book which he opens and shuts. He is a grasping and covetous fellow who cannot help but keep checking his bank balance, or maybe checking his Coinbase account. Agrippa says a banker gathering his money together on the table to govern in prudence, he covets the money with avarice. The associated tarot card is the Four of Pentacles. We could call this card the patron of the prepper, as the energy is a fear of scarcity, or rather an abundance of scarcity. There may be a narrative to cause us to worry about money and lack, which leads to hoarding, even when we have enough. Loo roll, anyone? However, it's a great card for the make-do and mend mentality, with recycling, upcycling, and accumulating goods, wealth, and power. Also, like the Duttons in Yellowstone, this wealth is likely to have grown via clever management that may even have been carried through generations. Use your initiative, utilise the Iranian flashes of genius to make your life practically better in a sustainable, self-sufficient way with the materials you have at hand, because with the supply chains the way they are, you're not going to get what you need shipped. The second half of Capricorn is described as a woman with loose hair who has a red face and red arms and who stands on one foot. The rest of her is dark, her belly hangs down and her teeth are like a crocodile's. Entering the water and standing at the entrance to hell, she raises her voice again and again. This imagery makes me think of the Extinction Rebellion, the way they've styled themselves. So on the opposite side to all the Capricorn activity with the full moon, we have the Cancer cluster with the sun. Meanwhile, opposite the moon, Mercury is hurtling fast, speedy Mercury, towards the sun, streaming information fast and faster, making us feel insecure as the ground quivers beneath our feet. Big changes are coming, and we feel it in our waters before we even know the shape of it. Water is involved somehow. Whatever is coming will be via water. This feels ominous to those of us who fear changes to our security, our comfort zones, our boundaries. But there's a hopeful trine from the moon to earthbound Uranus sextiling the sun that says whatever genius Heath Robinson style initiatives come about now will be necessary for the long-term plan. Venus trining Saturn is saying we must put sustainable structures in place for the Venusian things we need, like food, all the home comforts that we value and love, beauty, etc., to flourish. So close to the conjuncting cluster of this Sun, Lilith, Ceres and Mercury opposing Pluto and the Moon are a few fixed stars. Procyon at 26 Cancer, which relates to the Moon tarot card. At 21 Cancer, the star Muscida, which relates to the Chariot card. And Pollux at 21 degrees relating to the Sun tarot card. As we have a full moon, a supermoon no less, this energy is very much fueling up the chariots to go, go, go. It's the energy of an emotion-fueled mission for sure. Procyon is the water dog, or a place of water, the star of the crossing of the water. It's said to cause frivolity and either a love of dogs or a danger of dog bites and perhaps a fear of water or drowning. The energy is a sudden, violent malevolence with tempers flaring, hasty reactionary exertion that enforces a quick success, but one that ends in a disastrous fall later on by being too headstrong or too petulant. It can make people feel jealous, weak-natured, easily angered, careless and hasty, but headstrong with enough willpower as to pull off their short-sighted plans. Procyon indicates wealth and renown, and can make that everlasting, but only to those who act in the right way, towards the good. However, if any wealth was accrued by crafty means or with dissembling violence and lust, causing ruin with military force, it won't last. Especially when Pluto comes back round to shake up structures built on a lie and territories won by plunder. Another aspect of this star is of bestowing weapons, to produce nets and hunting spears tipped with strong points and to manufacture and sell at a profit whatever the art of hunting is likely to require. When the sun is near, it gives great help from friends, gifts and legacies, and if not afflicted, military preferment after great struggles and expense. With Mercury here too, there will be interest in occult matters, offering a minor position of management under government. There may be trouble and scandal through the opposite sex. The star Muscida is said to give a quiet, prudent, suspicious, mistrustful, self-controlled, patient nature, but with a great anger when roused. The tamer of wild beasts, these men teach bears, bulls, wolves and lions to lay aside their fierceness and share in human ways. Pollux, as you know, is the immortal twin, the wicked boy, Famous for his skill in boxing, this star is brutal and tyrannical, violent and cruel, especially when conjunct the Sun. It's associated with audacity and cruelty. It's set to cause trouble and disgrace, sickness, loss of fortune, affliction, and danger to the knees. The energy conjunct the Sun indicates injury from blows, stabs, serious accidents, shooting, shipwreck, extreme sickness and diseases, fevers, ailments affecting the stomach, blah blah blah. Again, we have a suggestion of riches that end with a final ruin. If general aggro with banishment or imprisonment for embezzling and possibly leading to a violent death like decapitation. Nice, huh? But I think the moral is, if you're going to get something with force and violence, then you're going to lose it. Okay, so I'll finish up with the degree symbols for the moon, which are bringing us on a slightly nicer note, I think, more hopeful. The Kosminski symbol is a hawk standing on a square black rock, bathed in the rays of the rising sun, denotes one whose power is directed to the uplifting and advancement of his race. A stayer of war and strife, of plague and riot, he looks directly ahead, far ahead into the years to come, when the new sun will illuminate the glory of a new age of gold. It's a symbol of renewing. So this is kind of emphasizing the need to look ahead and not act rashly, not act in the moment, grabbing what we can in some kind of frenzy, stripping the supermarkets bare, feeling jealous of the neighbours who have more tins of beans than we have. It's about looking to how far ahead in the future to make things sustainable. That's really the point of it, isn't it? So anyway, Rudyard says, accepting defeat gracefully, a general reveals nobility of character. The realization that one may grow through defeat as well as, and perhaps more than, through success, while the preceding symbol referred to the drive towards success in culturally organized collective endeavors. This one presents us with the possibility of turning apparent external defeat into an inner spiritual achievement. We have recently seen how totally vanquished nations in history have leapt forward and achieved great economic success. Much depends on the quality of the will and the inner integrity of the person. Here we find the paradox that the great sinner can become the most renowned saint and a medieval pope a criminal. What matters most is inner strength. Lineback says the influence of this degree may contribute greatly to the building of new limits for a new society. It's given to knowledge and study, both old and new. Also, he makes a good teacher. He digs deep into antiquity in order to correctly assess the current trends. The breadth of his knowledge usually equals its depth. He's more inclined to be dedicated to humanity as a whole and be captured by what he studies than he is to pursue any private or personal concerns for profit, and may thereby be unrecognised for what he has accomplished. There's the possibility that he may encompass both of these goals, or at least be in a position to reap some rewards for his efforts. He may do scientific or philosophical research, or in this day and age may even make discoveries along occult mystical directions. Barden says, this degree is regarded a special custodian of divine justice, for he controls the doings of negative power in the whole zone, girdling the earth as well as on our planet in all three planes, i.e. in the mental, astral and physical. This head sees to it that the negative powers never get the upper hand, and no chaos is created in these spheres, which, if it so happened, would have to be again equalised by the positive powers. The basic qualities are harmony and justice. So overall, it's basically saying if your intentions are not pure, then you're going to fail. You may succeed in the short term, but in the long term, karma will come back round and slap you in the face. So it's urging us to up our inner spiritual game to generally be better people than we are. So It's looking lively, isn't it? We have wildness ahead of us, so stay sane or not, but do the right thing and subscribe and all that. Cheerio.